Happy? No. Right now, I am so pissed off that I stopped writing and I have so much. It is going with the flow, my writing. But I'll get to that next. Okay? Which is actually not writing, but more trying to see the in between and connecting both sides based on common sense for most of it. But for half of it and more than half of it, okay, the numbers and letters always connect. Why am I mad? I'm a little upset because one of my cats is losing weight. Okay, I fed him Walmart food. Okay, for this or for that, it's the cheapest food you can buy. The price is really good. Okay, the pellets look nice. Okay, it's probably the best looking cheap food I've ever bought for my cats. But when you have a cat come out and starting to, before he even heaved, okay, his first one, he felt it grinding in his stomach, turning. I think, did I buy him the stuff for hairballs? Well, that would count for it, wouldn't it? But I didn't. Okay, they still get hairballs. Have I ever told you why we have house pets? Why do we have house pets? Well, first of all, communication angel transmission, CAT, is the cat. With the tail in the air and the ears perked out, he's sleeping in the middle of the night and he sees what's going on around him at the same time. The cat and the dog. The dog is man. Well, it's God reversed. And we're referred to in this world as a soul, a being is a man. They don't say woman. I'll get to that after. Or should I wait and forget about that as I forgot everything else? Why don't they mention the woman? Because this world is owned by the woman. This is Mother Nature's world for the good side, and this is the queen, whichever way you want to see her, or who is the queen in all actuality, or whatever her last name is. Okay, whoever she is, wherever she's from, just choose that queen. The queen of any one of your choices, okay, is the mother of this world on the evil side. So right away we know we have the good and the evil. Okay. There's many ways to say mother. I mean, because women are gypped. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's so many things to say. We have to spread around our money. What's happening with Walmart in Canada? Do they pay any taxes on the goods they sell? Okay, like their profits, do we get to take a bite into it? We have to. Whatever is on your land that your people surround, the people should get a piece of the action. That's the way it is. That's what's called sharing, okay, and harmonizing at the same time. It's also a connection, a way of communication, not a verbal communication, but a communication of the money, of how things can stay living. Because if somebody comes in and keeps taking all the fresh money out, eventually those people there will never have any money or a chance. Why? Because we still have to pay for the roads. Who pays for the roads? It comes out of my pocket for the roads. It should come out of my pocket based on the taxes that they charge on the company, our TPS, and whatever they pay has to go into the kitty. This world is not owned by the people. This is a planet in the middle of space. We all came here through the birth the same way, every single one of us. There ain't no demons and devils, but there will be, because the book was written. It's called the Bible, and the Bible calls for demons and devils. So what's going to happen? How does this work? We live basically in this. We may be inside another planet with a roof on it. Things are so far away we couldn't see anyways. Whatever the scientists find, it's the way God made it for them to find it. That's the way it works out. You know what I'm saying? From here to here, you know what they said about the monkey and the man? They're just missing this much. Well, it's this much that makes all the difference, because all God did is he took the cap off. Okay, the electronics are in here. You put the cap on, and this is all wired. Okay, we live inside here. This is the North Pole. This is the South Pole. The wires go in here. Okay, isn't that funny? It would be more like this. Excuse me. This would be the North Pole. This would be the South Pole, because we have to be on that 1:30, 10:30 angles, 4:30, 10:30, 1:30, 3 o'clock, 4:30, 6 o'clock, 7:30. Those are the angles of the 360 degrees. So they connect everything here. So when the evil has to come into this world, right, they just inject it into these wires over here, and they transfer from where they are, wherever the schoolhouses of angels are, because there are schoolhouses. We are in a Nintendo game of some sort. I mean, you have seen people being born, right? Not real, on video. They make it up. Don't forget, if holograms have been here, then holograms can be what I say condensed so much until what they actually are is real human being in touch, that we actually feel. Our feel and everything is transferred over to the body. So we get the first feel of the matter. And then it goes to the mind, and the mind goes back to the other world, and the other world you say, well, it really doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt anymore. It doesn't hurt anymore. And eventually you tell the mind in the other world, you're in this world, but you're not feeling anything anymore. And that's what basically happens a little bit in bipolar. You stop to feel certain things. And it's so weird, you're like spaced out between two worlds. And how do I get the distance of my space? Well, it's pretty simple, okay? If you call for 11:11 or 10:10, okay, it's a place on the clock. 10 minutes, 600 seconds, whichever way you want to look at it. But if you take the clock and you have it on 10:10 and you turn the clock this way, and someone walks in the rooms and he sees the numbers on the opposite side, and he doesn't know how a clock works, but he knows how numbers work, he's going to see the complete opposite. So 11:11 is actually 11:1. But it's a reflection of the same distance. So you say 11:11, which is 5 minutes on this side, and 5 minutes of the Earth movement is 125, right? 125, 5 minutes by 0.25. This Earth movement is the movement of Jack. The Earth moves for man. For man's 1/4 of his value. For the 52 Mayan years that make one cycle, for the reverse side, 25 to make man's cycle. 25, 1/4, 4 by 1/4, 100 century times 8 of the heaven. The same thing as the heaven would make the 360 degrees. You have to make the 360 degrees for the man. So you have the 8 heaven and the 6 man. So if you have the 8 heaven, it's 360 degrees. You have the 6 man. 6 by 45 is 270. So if you're asking why all these singers are dying at the age of 27 years old, is because it's actually 27 and then you and me, X-Man. The angle of my connection of 6, reversed of 1. That's what it's all about. Me, you, we're here, but our death does not lift us into heaven. It's a vision. It's a feeling. Because what it is the electricity on you when it gets cut. It has to dissolve somewhere. Where does it dissolve? Does it all come down from heaven to here? No. It's what takes you back up. It's what taking the last memory, your death, back with you, up into heaven, where you're a sleeping beauty inside a bed, where you haven't woken for the number of years you have been alive. So when you get there, you're just like, you're like a little lost. But eventually with time, you will find yourself, because everything will look the same where you are. Because during this last period of testimonial judgment, you judge yourself. Like I said, you sit in a room and it's your whole life over and over. And don't worry, you'll never be hungry. You'll be so interested in everything you did and what you did and what went around you, what you did that you never noticed. To be able to comply that with what you did and what you would have did if you would have really knew the truth of what's going on in life. It's at death we know all the truth. And that's why when we get older, we care less about certain things, because we know the actual truth within, but we just never talk about it because there's no reason to mention something like this, because who cares mostly about what's the past, what's actually happening in the future? People don't care anymore. I'm in Canada. I want Ron Paul. I want Harper out. Okay? If it means separating every single province that we get our civil and free liberties, that's what we should do. Okay? We come together with a motion, okay, that we need, okay, somebody right here to say, okay, guys, what do we need to do for us for the next year? It's not what is the government going to do for us. It's about what are we going to do as for our questions for the year, our statements and remarks, what we want to do, what we don't like, and how we're going to make the changes. Because you can't have 25 million wrong people in Canada. But if you have 50 people in the government, and 46 of them are bedridden to the almighty dollar, you only have 4. And then if they're connected to the media and the media is biased, you're left with none. So the people will always lose until they decide to wake up. Wake up, man. You're not watching the right TV, the right videos. Wake up. I haven't turned the TV on for a year and a half. And every time I think of turning it on, I feel sick. Because it's just like going to Cuba. When you turn the TV on, it's all about them. All about what they're doing, what they're deciding. They put it on TV so much until you decide they're right. They push it into your mind by putting the news on now 24 hours a day. They're not making money 24 hours a day on CNN. Let me tell you, they don't make money 24 hours a day on CNN. Well, now they do, of course. They own all the other stations, you know, where they don't make a buck here. They know what they need to break even. But it's not about owning everything, and it's not about money. It's about the Suez Canal. It's about they won't stop there because they need Baltic also. You cannot build anything unless you have Baltic and the Suez Canal Mediterranean. And they made the game of monopoly, not me. Go check what the price is. If I'm right, it's $60 and $80. Mrtacpans 72.86. Okay, I know my numbers are not wrong, and I know my thinking is totally 100% on the sanity level for the majority of the people out there. If you want to vote Barack Obama, who brought in a fake certificate, it's not even his name, just so these anti-Gentile, black, Zionist Hebrews, can I call them a Hebrew? They stink. They saved Israel not for the Hebrews. What else? Hebrews stink in Israel, that all these rabbis in Israel, these rabbis in Israel. Do you think the Zionists are going to help you? What good is building the house of David when David's not here? He ain't coming. If you rebuild with the evil, he can't come. You have blocked him from coming. The only time he will come, okay, is when you unblock your minds and see the truth to why Israel is so potent right now. I don't care about their money. I'm talking mentally inside as a state. They're strong, okay? Their warriors are strong, okay? Part because of one thing and part because of another. But regardless, remember your friends are your neighbors. If you can't trust your neighbor, who can you trust? If you can't go next door to borrow something, where should you go? To America? Trust your Arab neighbors. And this thing with the oil, we got to change this, man. If you want to see sanity in the world where we stop war, we got to change the monetary system, oil, gold, and silver. Okay? Everything has to go in its order. When you have something that never holds its true value, okay, whoever possesses this item will always at some end get screwed because there's always someone in between taking out a chunk. If you have something of $100, but every time you sell it by a friend, and you give him $5 every time, which is bought by a friend for somebody else, that he doesn't charge him anymore, but which he charges $5 more, that's a $10 miss. After selling that product 10 times, you have just completely lost the product. It has no value anymore. Everybody has sold it, and we've lost all that money. Anyways, again, the letter R is a 70 value. The letter R is the 18th letter plus the 70 equals 88. Angel resident freedom, R, me. I came here for this duty. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. It may never happen. Now I'm saying all the opposites against myself because it's the weirdest crap in the world. If you were ever in my position 7 years ago and saw Mary, the mother of Jesus, and got this number 7286, in which 72, like I told you before, the Mercedes-Benz logo, okay, is 120 degrees, 120 degrees, 120 degrees. 120 degrees is 1/3 of the day, which is 8 hours, okay? 120 degrees, 240 degrees makes 16 hours. Man, 2 times 4 is the 8 heaven, 2 plus 4 is 6 man, and that's the number of hours man is awake in the day. 8 hours is the number of he's supposed to sleep at the night, and that's the number of the connecting heaven. And that's why when you sleep, your REM sleep, or let me change around the whole thing and let me look at my book if I wrote something down about REM. Because REM is a very, very popular 3-letter combination, because the opposite of REM, okay, thinking a different way, would be lady, woman, female, mother, ladies, a doe, a deer, a sow, a pig, a hen, a chicken, a mare, a mother horse, and the ocean. because in French, mer means mother. It also means the sea or the ocean, the way you want to look at it. Okay? And a female elderly horse usually refer to it as a mare. So 2, 2, and 2 that they connect together in the English language as for and for you, and for me, and 1 for 4, and 1 for 1. What is 1 for 1? Does anybody know what 1 for 1 is? It's pretty simple. Okay, it's either the M letter is the reason for 1 for 1. It's because it starts off with one stick here with a V equaling to 4, and then it has a V and one stick here making it a 6. 1 angel for 1 man, 1 for 1, total of 6. Pick up sticks, 6. Total of the 2 equations plus the center, 6, 4, and 5 in the center, making 15. What are those letters? D, E, F, or the other way, F, E, D, the Fed. So we know it's good because angel and man connects together, and the reverse is the Fed, so there must be something wrong. And at the same time, it's death. And I just told you this about the Feds.